years ago, and we're going to learn a little bit about that this evening, and we're going to learn a little bit more about it in an upcoming Parsha reading as well, Tetzaveh. So before we get to that, though, I'd just like to welcome everyone here to the building. We have a great group of people who are joining us today in person. I'd like to say Bruchim Habaim, welcome, and Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos. So we're going to begin our service on page 6 of our Sidurims. Page 6 of our Sidurims with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malechei Hashayres, Malechei El Elyon. Mi Melech Malechei Hamachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Volechem l'shalom, Malechei Hashalom, Malechei El Elyon. Mi Melech Malechei Hamachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malechei Hashalom, Malechei El Elyon. Mi Melech Malechei Hamachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Malechei Hashalom, Malechei El Elyon. Mi Melech Malechei Hamachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'd like to invite up Pan to light our Shabbos candles. They've already been lit, but to say the blessings on page 7.
Come, let us welcome Shabbat.
May its radiance illuminate our hearts.
Light is the symbol of the divine.
The eternal is my light and my salvation.
Light is the symbol of the divine within us.
The eternal spirit is the light of the eternal.
Light is the symbol of the divine law.
For the mitzvah is a lamp and the Torah a light.
Light is the symbol of Israel's mission.
I, the Eternal, have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahavlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, O Eternal, our God, who makes our lives holy through divine mitzvot and has commanded us to kindle the Shabbat lamp.
Amen.
May the Eternal bless us with Shabbat joy.
Amen.
May the Eternal bless us with Shabbat peace.
Amen.
May the Eternal bless us with Shabbat holiness.
Amen. We're going to join together on page 9 with L'chadodi. L'chadodi l'graka la yereda 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 b'nei Shabbat nikavela. L'chadodi l'graka la yereda 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 b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Shamor b'zachor b'dibor echad. Kishmianu el Chamichad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem ol tiferet v'liteilah, l'chaydoidi l'graka la yereda 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 b'nei Shabbat, nekalela, l'chaydoidi l'graka la yereda 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 b'nei Shabbat, Nekabela Likra Shabbat Lechu B'Melcha Ki Mekor Habracha Merosh Mikedem Nesuka Sof Ma'asa B'Maksha Tehila Lechaydoidi Likraka La Yereda 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 B'nei Shabbat Nikabela lechaydoidi likraka la yereda 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 b'nei Shabbat Nikabela hi ori kiva ore kumi ori shir daberi kavod Adonai alai nehila lechaydoidi likraka la yereda 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 b'nei Shabbat Nikavela lechaydoidi likraka la yereda 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 b'nei Shabbat Nikavela. Now we face the entrance or exit of our building as we say together. Boi v'shalom aseret ba'alam, gam b'simcha u'v'sola, Tov emune am sigulam boi kala ha ha le chaydo dili krakala yera b'nei Shabbat nekabela ha le chaydo dili krakala yera b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Remain standing for the Hatzi Kaddish on page 11 of our Siddur readings. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabba Be'amadi rafirutei yanich malchutei B'chai yechonu v'yoymechonu Chayedecho Beit Yisrael V'agala Ubizman karib Yemeru Amen Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach Le'olam elomei elmaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitrama v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shamir kudusha berechu le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran yama yemeru amen. Page 12 will join together for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Page 13 will join together with the English reading. Eternal God, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, not let your glory depart from us. Help us become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ari Baravim. Blessed are you, O Eternal, who brings on the evening. Page 14 will join together at the bottom of the page for the translation for Avat Olam. With eternal love you've loved your people, the house of Israel. Torah and commandments, statutes and judgments you've taught us. Therefore, O eternal our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will discuss your statutes and rejoice in the words of your Torah and your commandments forever. For they are our lives and they lengthen our days, and we'll meditate upon them day and night. May you never remove your love from us forever and ever. Blessed are you, O Eternal, who loves God's people, Israel. Page 13. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Ma'ilchutoi, Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. We turn now to page 16 for the V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzorecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shitecha b'beitecha u'v'letecha v'derech u'shachbecha u'kumecha u'kshatam neot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'ktabtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'yitem kiroshim lelolechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem mi'eretz Mitzrayim להיות לכם אלוהים, אני Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, and next. Page 17 will join together for the responsive reading. Eternal truth is that you alone are God and there is none else.
May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares.
Let them beat their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up sword against nation, let them study war no more.
You shall not hate another in your heart, you shall love your neighbor as yourself.
Let the stranger be in your midst, to you as the native, for you are once strangers in the land of Egypt.
From the house of bondage and went forth to freedom. So let all be free to sing with joy.
Page 18, we join together for Micha Mocha. Micha Mocha, Bali Madonai. Micha Mocha, Nezar by Kodesh, Morat Eilos, Osei Fele. Machutzecha ra'u banecha, Bokeyam Yivne Moshe, Ze Eli Anu V'yamru, Adonai Eloi Leolam Va'ed B'ne'emar Ki Farad Anayat Yaakov V'Lam Yat Hazak Mimenu V'Yiruk Aita Adonai Gal Yisrael. Page 19, we join together once again for a responsive reading. Cause us, O eternal our God, to lie down in peace and to awaken us each morning to life renewed with strength. Spread over us the holy shelter of your peace.
Help us to order our lives by your counsel and lead us in the paths of righteousness. Be a shield about us, protecting us from hate and war, pestilence and sorrow.
Curb also within us the inclination to do evil and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Guard our going out and our coming into life from this time forth forever.
Blessed are you, O eternal, whose holy shelter of peace is spread over us, over all God's people Israel, and all over Jerusalem.
Page 20, we join together for Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asod et ha-Shabbat le'dor et ha-merit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asod et ha-Shabbat le'dor et ha-merit olam. B'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asod et ha-Shabbat le'dor et ha-merit olam. Ki sheich yamim asa Adonai, asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'es ha'aretz. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asod et ha-Shabbat le'dor et ha-merit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asod et ha-Shabbat le'dor et ha-merit olam. We now rise for the Amidah prayer. Tefillah begins on page 21 of our Sidurims. Adonai sefatai titaku fi agita hilatecha. Vayirut Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Ve'imatenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanurah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Toivim V'konei HaKol V'zocher Chasei Avot V'imachot U'mevii Ge'ula Lifnei Ganahem U'man Shemo B'Yahava Melech Ozeh Mashiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ezra Sarah Atah Gibor Li'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Rabbe Hoshia Mashivo Ruach U'Morid HaGeshem Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed Mechayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim Soimek Noiflim V'Rofei Cholim U'Matzir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato B'Shenei Afar Michamocha V'Al Gibirot U'Midon Melach מלך ממיט ומחיה ומשמיח ישועה ונאמן צדק החיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל אתה קדוש בשם הקדוש וקדושים בכל יום יחללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We daven silently until we join together on page 29 for Oseh Shalom. Now join together on page 29 for Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromach, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Y'ameru amen. So this week's Torah portion, we're at Parshat Teruma, and I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit of a story. A couple years ago, I began a project that was opening the Ark project, and the objective of the project was to rebuild a majestic Torah Ark that had been destroyed in the Holocaust. So today I'm going to be sharing a sermon that I had put together when I was in the process of creating the Ark, and then in the upcoming Shabbat, which is Tetzaveh, where we talk about what it was like to carry the tabernacle in the desert, we'll actually see a video that will include the actual ark once it was completed. But this Torah portion, a couple years ago, the ark was almost completed, and we'll learn a little bit about what that project was in the video that I'll be sharing with everyone right now. Okay. Uh-oh.
Can you see the screen?
It's gotta take a second to start back up again. It gets better than this, I can show you that.
We all have that.
Yeah. It takes a second to load.
You could see.
I can see.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not sure why it's taking to Roku. Hallelujah. Okay.
It looks like there's a pair shoulder or something.
Yeah, it does. doesn't it? Okay. In this week's Torah portion, Parshat Teruk, we read how the people of Israel were called upon to build the tabernacle and the ark that will house the Ten Commandments. The antechambers of the tabernacle are also described as a sanctuary for God to dwell in. The construction includes specifications calling for various exotic materials, including gems, carved woods, luxurious fabrics, artistically woven curtains, and precious metals such as gold, silver, and copper. Tasked to our forebearers, the dimensions and measurements for construction are exact and specific. This is the first finite architectural description for our people and the first descriptions of artistry, wood carving, gilding, and work with precious materials. In Exodus 25, verse 17 of this week's Torah portion, the text calls for the ark cover with Ve'asita koperet zahav tahor, translated into English, and you shall make an ark cover of pure gold. This week, our Torah portion is the bedrock for Jewish expressions in art, woodworking, architecture, and design. It may surprise many, but there is a deep running tradition and current of our people with art, woodworking, architecture, and design. The verses from this week's Torah portion encapsulate the first iteration of these sciences, but it would not be our last. Eventually, the synagogues of ancient Israel would mirror the thought that went into this week's Torah portion. Ancient synagogues such as Dura Europos of Syria during the Roman period were vibrant, full of color and full of life. They included zodiac symbols and human forms in their interior prayer spaces. Diasporic Judaism would eventually bear some awe-inspiring, beautiful synagogues, and they included the glorious wooden synagogues of Poland. Tragically, during the Holocaust, all of the wooden synagogues and arks were destroyed in Europe by 1945. Last year, I set upon the monumental task of rebuilding one of the great wooden arks from one of the perished wooden synagogues of Europe, and embarked upon the opening the Ark project of Cincinnati. The Ark, now rebuilt and standing proudly inside of the Skirball Museum of Cincinnati, was one of the jewels of world Jewry. Towering and coated in vibrant colors, it stood in Cedra, Poland, but it was destroyed by the Nazis in 1942. With Polish, Sephardic, Ashkenazi, and Russian influences, it testified to a Jewish dialogue and to a Jewish mastery of art, artistry, and carpentry. Included on the Ark itself are the motifs of this week's Torah portion, and the Ark includes the Ten Commandments, the cherubim gildings of precious metals, and the assumed figure of Moses. Embroidered in Hebrew above the opening that houses the Torah scrolls is the first verse from the second aliyah of this week's Torah portion, and translated from Hebrew read, "And you shall make an ark cover of pure gold." The Ark from Poland has now been restored to the beautiful piece of art that it once was. The story of the Ark's rebirth is fascinating. Yet it is the story of a community of people that is most touching and inspiring. The project was not financed, built, or envisioned by one person. There was a board, a team of volunteers, and close to a dozen organizations that all pitched into the project. Nevertheless, the details of the opening the Ark project mirror the text of our Torah reading from this week. Imagine again the text from our Torah reading. Two aspects brought the Ark and the tabernacle into tangible existence. First, material support was needed to drive the projects. The people of Israel donated in abundance the materials needed to construct the Ark and the Mishkan, the tabernacle. They brought gold, silver, and copper, blue, purple, and red dyed wool, goat hair, spun linen, animal skins, wood, olive oil, herbs, and even precious stones for their construction. Second, there was community and leader-driven support for the projects. A team of priests serviced the Ark and the tabernacle, while another team of artisans would convene tasked with creating the blueprints of the projects and of the greater community. They participated in the monumental effort of our people to build the physical spaces of the Ark and the tabernacle, the Mishkan, in harmony and tandem with one another. The project of creating the Ark and the tabernacle was a monumental communal task for antiquity. It begot a sort of holy union between leadership teams and a community. Without the support of both, there would be no artisans, no gold, no silver, and no priests. There would be no Ark and no tabernacle, no Mishkan for our people. So too, the opening the Ark project of Cincinnati necessitated a community leadership-centered holy union. Financial support was provided by several national and local Jewish and non-affiliated organizations, while the team of volunteers and skilled laborers spent day and night working on the various stages of the Ark's construction. For the community leadership team, the excitement was not merely generated around rebuilding a perished item. It was about community, of creating personal relationships. Everyone involved with the project felt an emotional bond, not chiefly to the Ark, but to each other. When I reached out to donors, I asked how they were managing with COVID-19. When they spoke with myself, they wanted to know how my family was doing. When one of the volunteers needed help moving into his new apartment, we all pitched in to help him with the moving process. Relationships were formed and bonded. A community grew resting upon the same empathy, compassion and dedication that pulled ourselves to rebuild a lost treasure of our people. Today we sit apart from one another. Families have been separated and many have not been able to see loved ones for quite some time. However, what is it that has brought us here together today? Is it an ark? A sanctuary? Is it a physical space? Clearly, as important as our physical spaces may be, our connections extend beyond the physical realm. The building of our community has drawn us to be with one another here today. It is the call of love, unity, community, God, and spirituality of Judaism that glue us together. These qualities are needed today more than ever before. The experience of living under COVID-19 for a year now has accelerated many trends. We now, more than ever before, live in a world where we have developed speed, but we have quite literally shut ourselves in. Technology and the internet gives abundance, but has left us with want. Our knowledge has often made us cynical, our cleverness often hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than technology, today we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life may be violent and much may be lost. Zoom has brought us closer together here today. The very nature of this invention cries out for the goodness in humanity. It cries out for universal friendship, for the unity of us all. Even as we sit in different states, we are brought together in one room today. Over this past year, it is easy to imagine that the absence of human touch has driven many to brutality. Cruelty, violence, and desperation may thrive under such conditions. Poor leadership and greed may easily monopolize our desperation, manipulate and delegate us, and turn our world into a power keg of violence. Nevertheless, we must remember we are not machines. We have the love of humanity and of a community of good faith in our hearts. Building an ark and a tabernacle are holy not because of the physical spaces created, but because of the connections, empathy, care, and devotion we build with one another. Exodus 25, verse 17 states, "And you shall make an ark cover of pure gold." But as we have found out in our history, material wealth, arks, tabernacles, and so on all rise up, but are merely physical and not eternal. What may endure, however, is our faith, which raises not just buildings, but a community of love, compassion, and concern. These values have transcended and will continue to transcend generations of our people and be our ark for future generations. L'Dor Vador. Thank you.
And I'll show a very quick image of the ark as it's completed. And this is an image of the ark as it was completed and standing inside of the Skirball Museum of Cincinnati. So right now on tour, its expected next location is going to be announced shortly. But this is an image of the ark completed as over 20 feet tall. Thank you. See it?
Wow. Is it the same same size
The
as
same
one?
same exact size. The colors were made the same exact way. The colors were actually made from pigments that were crushed up and then binded with linseed oil the exact same way that the original was made. All of the wood was shipped from overseas. It was the same type of wood that was used. It was European larch wood, and it was an exact replica of the.
Except for the stones.
What stones?
Did they say that there was precious stones?
No, that's the stones that were used for the original ark that was in ancient Israel. This is the ark that was existing in Poland.
Oh, so the one in Poland was a replica of the one in Israel?
No, this was an ark that just held the Torah scrolls. That ark that's referred to in the Bible is holding the commandments. But that's it. It's about 20 feet tall. Really exciting.
Did everybody
How long
come to
did it
someplace
take?
close here?
It's possible. It's supposed to go on tour at a number of different locations. Next place is not going to be close from here, but it is certainly possible that it'll end up here in the near future. I'd like it to, because it's more convenient for me.
How long did it take?
It took a full year, but that was working full time during COVID. Because no one really could do anything during COVID. That was what we did. We just built an ark. All right, so tomorrow we're going to recite the full Mishaberach list, but this evening I'd like to ask if anyone would like to add any names to the Mishaberach list that will be read tomorrow. Are there any names that anyone is observing a Mishaberach for this evening?
Stephen Carroll Lichtenstein,
Stephen Carroll Lichtenstein,
Corinne Liz,
Corinne Liz,
Corky Hockenberry,
Corky Hockenberry,
Roger Bloomfield.
Roger Bloomfield,
Oh, and Gerald Sherman.
Gerald Sherman,
Anna Pereira,
Anna Pereira,
and Mayor Yisrael Ben Elka.
Mayor Yisrael Ben Elka,
Sure. Marsha Ponce,
Marsha Ponske,
Linda Belford,
Linda Belford,
Sharon Beckus.
Sharon Beckus.
That's all that comes to mind.
Okay. Any additional names? Okay, the words for the Mishaberach may be found at the back of our Siddurim. Please rise if it is your custom, as we will recite the Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avoteinu Mikor Chadrecha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor chadrecha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah sholema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Remain standing now for the Aleinu on page 30 of our Sidurians. Aleinu l'shabei klaidon hakol v'teit gedula liyotzeh b'reishit shelo atzanu kigia ratzot v'lo samanu kimishpachot adama shelo sam yapenu kachem v'gor aleinu kikol hamonam v'anachnu korim oy mishpachonim oy moedim Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hai kadosh baruch hu shehu melchei shamayim v'yoser haaretz u'moshev yikaro b'shamayim mima'al u'shchinatu zo b'godei merayimim hu Eloheinu ein od emet malkeinu efes zulato Kol katuv b'torato v'yadata hayom ve'oshevota ela bebecha ki Adonai hua Elohim b'shamayim mimal v'yal haaretz mitachad
Ein Od, Ein Od. We therefore hope in you, O eternal our God, soon to behold the splendor of your might. Then will false gods vanish from the earth, and the idols will be utterly cut off to heal the world through the sovereignty of the Almighty. Then will all that claim you as their God and forsaking evil turn to you alone. Let all who dwell on earth acknowledge that unto you every knee must bend and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you, O eternal our God, let them humble themselves to your glorious name, let them give honor. Let all accept the yoke of your dominion, that you may rule over them soon and forever. For the dominion is yours, and your rule in glory, as it is written. The Eternal will reign forever and ever. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz. Vayomahu yihye Adonai echad. U'shemo echad. You may be seated. I'll be reciting names from our Yortzeit list, as well as members of our community who have recently passed. After the names have been read aloud, I'd like to ask anyone in our community to please share with us any names they're observing a Yortzeit for or in the period of Shoshim of. Our Yortzeit list includes the following names: Bernice Peck, Stanford Lebos, Benjamin Ginsberg, Morris Cohen, Simeon Barron, Bertha Redchick, Lucille Frederick, Bernice Razinowitz, Dick Kazin, William Natras, Ann Bruce, Martin Schwartz, Esther Spielberg, Solomon Nemais, Max Sklar, Harry Rothberg, Harvey Marcus, Leonard Suslowitz, Luis Boda, Nadine Schwartz, Marge Francisco, Harold Levinson. Recently passed from our community are the following names: Steve Goldblum, Jacob George Tobel, Peter Lozama, Stan Perlman, David Schneider, Raphael Marcus, Florence Schneider, Sylvia Tannenbaum, Florence Gottmacher, Philip Moret, Bruce Fleischig. Are there any additional names anyone is observing a Yortzeit for here today or in the period of Shoshim of?
Lee Benner.
Lee Benner, Stephen Rozovsky,
Bridget Abruzzo,
Bridget Bruzo,
and Peter Ibsen.
Peter Ibsen,
Ben Rodriguez,
Ben Rodriguez,
Fred Kellogg,
Fred Kellogg,
Judy Merman,
Judy Merman,
um,
McDonald Smith,
McDonald Smith, thank you. Thank you.
Larry.
And Larry Bershaw.
Larry Bershaw,
Randy Franklin.
Randy
Franklin.
Franklin. Are there any additional names anyone is observing a Yortzeit for in the period of Shoshim of? No? If it is your custom, please rise. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 33 of our Siddur Notes. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah v'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlik malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon u'chayei d'chol beis Yisrael v'ayigala v'zman kariv v'yimru amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah mivarach li'olam elamei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shamei v'kudusha b'reichu La'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damran v'yalma v'imru amen Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen Aseh shalom v'imromav Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort always all who are bereaved, and let us say, Amen. You may be seated. We have now the opportunity for some short but uplifting announcements.
Okay, you're not doing it. Okay. Gotcha.
Unless Rhoda wants to do it.
No, you can do it.
Dave, you do it very well, unless you want me to read them.
No, I'm good. I'm looking somewhere. Oh, right here.
No, the camera's right over there, so if you want to look at the camera, I mean, you don't have to look at anything. If you want, you could just look at the paper. Or
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, here are the announcements. Saturday, February 25th, as in tomorrow, Torah study and worship, virtual and in person. Torah study is at 9:30. Worship starts at 10:15. Havdalah and game night, and it's an interfaith evening, is also tomorrow, Saturday, February 25th. New member Shabbat and Shabbat across.
It was delayed, actually. It was an email sent out about it today because the interfaith group were not able to attend.
So when is it now
It's gonna
scheduled
be
for?
scheduled for next month. They haven't set the date yet, but I think it's going to be towards the end of the month or sometime towards the week of the 20th.
Gotcha. So if any of you were listening to that, Havdalah and game night and interfaith evening will be later in March. New member Shabbat and Shabbat Across America is March 3rd at 6:30 p.m. Services will be followed by bagel and salad dinner. Dinner is, are you ready? $5 per person. Service open to all at no cost. Register for dinner on the weekly email. Purim Cafe, Monday, March 6th, also at 6:30 p.m. The music will be the Megillah reading and Purim spiel. Potluck, dairy or vegetarian. We will provide dessert and soft drinks at no cost. RSVP to the office by March 3rd. Purim baskets are on sale. The deadline for orders is February 27th, thank you, 27th, and more information is also on the weekly email. The board meeting, March 1st, Simcha Shabbat, March 3rd and March 4th. Social Action Committee meeting is March 8th, and Student Shabbat,
It's changed.
it's been changed from March 8th?
I believe so.
I think it's also 11 in the morning.
Yeah, that's what I had heard, but I
It's
didn't
not-
see an email, actually.
Okay, Social Action Committee is either March 8th or March 15th, to be determined.
You had the hardest job this evening with all the changes on there.
I'm dealing with it, And Student Shabbat is March 18th. Put that on your calendars. David, you'll be there. That's it. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. Thank you.
Nicely done.
Oh yeah, good job.
Very nice. You can have a job from now on. You're hired.
We're going to now turn to page 34 of our Sidurims and join together for Adon Olam. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nira Li'et Nasa V'Chevzo Kol Azai Melech Shamo Nikra V'Yachar Drei Kilot HaKol Levado Yimoich Noira Ve'hu Aya Ve'hu Hoveh Ve'hu Yiyeh B'Tifara Ve'hu Echad V'Yein Sheni Lehamshilo Lehachbira Beli Reishi Beli Tachli Velo Ha'oz Ve'Hamizra Ve'hu Eli Ve'Chai Goali Ve'Tzorchet Li Ve'Yetzara Ve'hu Nisi Onanos Li Menat Kosi Ve'Yom Ekra Bi'Ado Afkid Ruchi V'Yetzi Shan Me'ayira Ve'im Ruchi Geviyati Adonai Li Ve'lo Ira. Good Shabbat.